Choi
God,
Dae-Jung was the
run!
kind of man mothers warned their daughters about. A loan shark,
God,
a
run!
debt collector, a ruthless enforcer, the muscle
Won't hurt
behind Seoul's
us.
most ruthless underground finance operation. Then one
Miss
night, he
Richardson,
showed up to collect from a woman
open
who
the
owed 80
door.
million won
I
and
know
found her
you're in there.
5-year-old daughter instead, sitting alone in a dark apartment, waiting for a mother who hadn't come home in 3 days. The little girl looked up at him with eyes that didn't know fear yet and asked, "Are you
Are
here to
you
help my
here to
mommy?"
help my mommy?
In that moment, Dae-Jung had a choice: walk away and let the debt stand, or find out why a woman would risk everything, including her child's safety, rather than face him. He chose wrong. Or maybe, for the first time in his life, he chose right. Before we go any further, I need you to hit that like button if you're as curious as me about what happens when a debt collector becomes a protector. Let's dive in. Choi Dae-Jung stood outside apartment 402 in Gangnam's Forgotten District, the kind of building where broken dreams went to die quietly. His phone buzzed. A message from his boss. Collect or cut losses. Your call. Dae-Jung pocketed the phone and knocked. Once. Twice. Nothing. He knocked
Miss
harder.
Richardson,
"Ms. Richardson, open the
open the
door. I know
door.
you're in there."
I know you're in
Silence.
there.
Dae-Jung's jaw tightened. He'd been tracking Shanice Richardson for 3 weeks. An American English teacher who'd borrowed 80 million won to cover her mother's cancer treatment back in Atlanta. The mother died anyway, and Shanice stopped making payments 2 months ago. He pulled out his lockpick set. Illegal, but so was everything about his job. The door clicked open. Inside, the apartment was dark. Cold. The electricity had been cut off. Probably weeks ago. Dae-Jung stepped in slowly, his eyes adjusting. "Ms. Richardson?" A small sound came from the corner. Not an adult. A child. Dae-Jung's hand moved instinctively toward the knife at his belt, then stopped. Sitting on a worn couch, wrapped in a blanket, was a little girl. Maybe 5 years old. Her skin was dark like her mother's, her hair pulled into 2 puffs on either side of her head. She held a flashlight in one hand and a coloring book in the other. She looked up at him without fear. "Hi," she said softly. Dae-Jung's brain stalled. "Where's your mother?" "She went to work. She said she'd be back soon." The girl's voice was steady, practiced, like she'd said these words before. "When did she leave?" The girl tilted her head, thinking with big wide eyes. "Before yesterday." "Before yesterday. 2 days. Maybe 3?" Something cold settled in his chest. He crouched down slowly, keeping his distance. "What's your name?" "Lily." "Lily Richardson?" She nodded. "I'm looking for your mom. Do you know where she works?" Lily shook her head. "She doesn't tell me. She says it's boring grown-up stuff." Dae-Jung pulled out his phone and dialed Shanice Richardson's number. It went straight to voicemail. He'd been calling for weeks. This wasn't new, but this child, alone in the dark for days, was. "Lily,
Lily,
when's
when's
the
the
last
last
time you
time
ate?"
you ate?
She thought about it.
This morning.
"This morning, I
I
had
had
crackers."
crackers.
Dae-Jung stood and walked to the kitchen. The fridge was empty except for a carton of expired milk and half a loaf of bread. The cupboards had nothing but instant noodles and a few crackers. He turned back to Lily. She was watching him with those big, trusting eyes. "Are you here to help my mommy?"
Are you
she
here
asked.
to help my mommy?
Dae-Jung's throat tightened. Something like that. That was a huge lie. He was here to either collect or slit her throat. But with the 5-year-old looking at Dae-Jung like he was the savior she had been waiting for all her life, like he was an actual human instead of the machinery that he wasn't so sure anymore. Dae-Jung wasn't used to cooking, but he made her ramen. It was the only thing available. Lily ate it quietly, carefully, like she'd learned not to waste food. "Do you stay alone a lot?" he asked. "Sometimes. Mommy says I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself." 5 years old. In the dark. For 2 days or even more. Dae-Jung's hands curled into fists. I'm going to make some calls, okay? You keep coloring. Lily nodded and picked up her crayons. Dae-Jung stepped into the hallway and dialed his contact in the police department. I need you to run a name. Shanice Richardson, American, English teacher, last known address, Gangnam. The line went quiet for a moment. Then, hold on. Dae-Jung waited, his chest tight. Got her, the contact said. Picked up 3 nights ago in Itaewon. Solicitation charge. Dae-Jung's stomach dropped. What? She was working the clubs. Undercover sting operation. She's being held at Seoul Detention Center pending trial. Bail set at 20 million won. 20 million. On top of the 80 she already owed. When's her hearing? Day after tomorrow. But Jung, if she can't make bail, she's looking at deportation.
They're cracking down on foreign nationals with criminal charges. Dae-Jung closed his eyes. How long does she have? Once she's convicted? Maybe a week before they put her on a plane? And the kid? What kid? She has a daughter, 5 years old. Been alone for 3 days. Silence. Then, that complicates things. If social services find out, they'll take the child into emergency custody, and if the mother's deported, the kid goes into the system, alone, in a foreign country. Dae-Jung's jaw clenched. Don't notify them yet. Jung! The contact called in warning, but Dae-Jung cut her off. 48 hours, that's all I'm asking. The line went dead. Honestly, if you're already hooked, you might want to go ahead and hit subscribe. Something tells me you're going to want to see where this goes. Just saying. Dae-Jung walked back inside. Lily was still coloring, humming softly to herself. She looked a little more alive and energetic now that she had eaten something other than crackers. He sat down on the couch beside her. Lily, your mom isn't coming home tonight. She
Lily,
looked
your
up.
mom isn't coming
Her
home
crayon
tonight.
paused
She's safe.
mid-stroke.
Uh,
She got in some trouble with the police, but she's okay. She's safe. Lily's face didn't change. Not yet. When can I see her?
Right now, I need to take you
Soon.
somewhere safe. Is
I'm
that
going
okay?
to help her.
When can I see her?
But right now,
Right now,
I need to take you somewhere safe.
Is that okay?
Is that okay? Lily studied him carefully. Are you a bad man? The question hit him like a punch. Jung hadn't been in this situation before, so he didn't know if he was to lie or tell the truth to this 5-year-old with wide, curious eyes. Some people think so. But you're helping us? Yeah, I am. Then you're not bad. She said it with such certainty, such simple logic, that something in his chest cracked. Pack a bag, Lily. Just the important stuff. She nodded and went to her room. Dae-Jung pulled out his phone and made a call. Min-so, I need a favor. His older sister, Choi Min-so, opened the door at midnight with a look that could melt steel. What did you do? She whispered. I need you to watch her, just for a day or two. Min-so looked at Lily, who stood quietly beside Dae-Jung, clutching a small backpack. Her expression softened. Come in. Inside, Min-so set Lily up in the guest room with blankets and a stuffed animal her own daughter had outgrown. Lily accepted it gratefully and climbed into bed. Thank you, she whispered. Min-so smiled. You're welcome, sweetheart. Back in the living room, Min-so turned to Dae-Jung. Explain, now. He did. All of it. The debt, the mother's arrest, the bail, the deportation threat. Min-so listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. Then she said, You're going to bail her out. It was more of a statement than a question. I have to. And then what? You are supposed to be working strictly on orders, remember? I'll figure the details out after, Dae-Jung said. Yoon, this woman owes you 80 million. You bail her out, you're down 100 million. Your boss will kill you. I know. So why are you doing this? He looked toward the room where Lily was sleeping. Because that little girl has been alone for 3 days, surviving on crackers and hope. And her mother wasn't out partying. She was trying to make money the only way she knew how. His voice dropped. I've seen worse, done worse, but I draw the line at letting a kid suffer because her mom made desperate choices. Min-so stared at him, something shifting in her eyes. You've changed. No, I just finally found a line I won't cross. She sighed. I have some money saved. You can add it. I know it's going to gut your account to do it on your own. Min-so, don't argue. Just pay me back when you can. She paused. And Young? Be careful. If your boss finds out you're using his money to bail out a debtor, he won't. But they both knew that was a lie. The next morning, Dae-Jung stood outside Socho Detention Center with 20 million won in cash. He'd pulled the other 10 from his own savings, money he'd been keeping for emergencies. This qualified. Inside, they processed the bail and brought Shanice Richardson out 30 minutes later. She looked exhausted, thin. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun, and dark circles shadowed her eyes. When she saw Dae-Jung, she stopped. You, she breathed. Me. Why are you here? To get you out. Her eyes widened. I don't understand. I own you money. You should be... Your daughter's been alone for 3 days. Shanice's face crumpled. Oh, God. Lily, is she... She's fine. She's with my sister. But we need to talk. They sat in a small cafe across the street. Shanice hadn't touched her coffee. Her hands shook as she gripped the cup. I didn't know what else to do, she whispered. The school cut my hours. I couldn't make rent, couldn't pay you back. I thought if I could just make enough money to get caught up. By working the clubs? She flinched.
It was just supposed to be hostessing, talking to businessmen, pouring drinks. But then the police came and... She stopped, her voice breaking. I'm going to be deported, aren't I? Not if you show up for your hearing and pay the fine. I don't have money for a fine. I don't have money for anything. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I can't lose Lily. She's all I have. Dae-Jung leaned back, studying her. I bailed you out. 20 million. That's on top of the 80 you owe me. She looked at him, devastated. I'll never be able to pay you back. No, you won't. Then why? Because your daughter asked me if I was here to help you. And I said yes. He paused. I don't break promises, especially not to kids. Shanice stared at him, something vulnerable and broken in her eyes. What do you want from me? I want you to stop running. Stop making desperate choices that put Lily at risk. And I want you to let me help. Why would you help me? Because I used to be the kind of man who didn't ask why. I just collected. Hurt people if I had to. Walked away when it was done. He met her gaze. I don't want to be that man anymore. For a long moment, they just looked at each other. Then Shanice whispered, What do I do? First, we get you a lawyer. A real one. We fight the charges, get the fine reduced, keep you in the country. Second, you move. That apartment isn't safe. I can't afford... I know a place. Small, cheap, clean. The landlord owes me a favor. And the debt? Dae-Jung was quiet for a moment. Then he said, Forget it. Her eyes widened. What? The 80 million. Consider it forgiven. You can't. Your bosses? Let me worry about my business. You just focus on your daughter. Shanice's hands flew to her mouth, tears streaming now. I don't know what to say. Say you'll show up for the hearing. Say you'll take the apartment. Say you'll let Lily have a stable home. I will. I promise. Thank you. Her voice broke. Thank you. Dae-Jung nodded and stood. Come on. Let's go get your daughter. If this story's got you feeling something, drop a comment. Tell me what you're thinking. I read every single one, and honestly, your words keep me going. Lily's face lit up like the sun when Shanice walked through Minseo's door. Mommy! She ran, and Shanice dropped to her knees, catching her, holding her so tight it looked like she'd never let go. Baby. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. Shanice sobbed into Lily's hair. I'm so sorry. It's okay, Mommy. Uncle Jung helped us. Shanice looked up at Dae-Jung through her tears. Uncle Jung? Lily nodded seriously. He made me ramen. And he promised to help you. And he did. Shanice stood slowly, still holding Lily on her hip. She walked over to Dae-Jung and, before he could react, wrapped one arm around him in a fierce hug. Thank you, she whispered, for everything. Dae-Jung stood stiffly, unsure what to do with his hands. Minseo watched from the doorway, a small smile on her face. You're welcome, he said quietly. The next 2 weeks were a blur. Dae-Jung got Shanice a lawyer. They fought the charges, got them reduced to a fine and community service. No jail time, no deportation. He moved her and Lily into a small 2-bedroom apartment 3 blocks from his sister's place. Clean, safe, affordable. And he helped her find work. Legitimate work, tutoring English to business executives. It paid better than the school had. Slowly, Shanice started to rebuild, and Dae-Jung found himself showing up. Not because he had to, but because Lily asked. Uncle Jung, can you stay for dinner? Uncle Jung, will you read me a story? Uncle Jung, can we go to the park? He said yes every time, and somewhere along the way, he stopped being a debt collector and started being something else. A friend, a protector, maybe even family. Days later, Dae-Jung's boss finally called him in. He'd been expecting this. The office was cold, sterile. His boss sat behind a massive desk, fingers steepled, eyes sharp. You've been avoiding my calls. I've been busy. Busy losing me money. The boss, Arturo, leaned forward. Shanice Richardson, 80 million won, plus the 20 you used to bail her out. That's 100 million, Jung. Gone. I'll pay it back. With what? You've been spending all your time playing house with some American woman and her kid. Dae-Jung's jaw tightened. Leave them out of this. Why? You didn't? The boss smiled coldly. You've gone soft, and soft men don't last in this business. Then I'm out. The room went silent. What did you say? I quit. Dae-Jung stood. I'll pay back every one I owe you, but I'm done. You don't quit me. I just did. The boss stood slowly, his face darkening. You think you can just walk away? After everything I've done for you? You didn't do anything for me. You used me. And I let you because I didn't know any better. Dae-Jung stepped toward the door. But I know better now. Jung. The voice was a warning. Dae-Jung stopped, his hand on the doorknob. You walk out that door. You're on your own. No protection, no connections, nothing. Good. Dae-Jung opened the door. That's exactly what I want. He walked out and didn't look back. That evening, Dae-Jung showed up at Shanice's apartment with takeout. She opened the door, surprised. Jung, what are you doing here? I quit my job. Her eyes widened. What? Why? Because I didn't like the man I was becoming, and I liked the man I was when I was with you and Lily. Shanice stared at him, something soft and vulnerable crossing her face. Jung, I know this is complicated. I know I'm not a good man, Shanice. I've done things. Bad things. So have I. But I want to be better. And when I'm with you two, I feel like I can be. Shanice stepped closer. What are you saying? I'm saying I don't want to walk away. I want to stay. If you'll let me. For a long moment, she just looked at him. Then she smiled. Stay for dinner? Yeah, I'd like that. Lily appeared in the doorway, grinning. Uncle Jung, you're here. She ran and hugged his legs. Dae-Jung picked her up, and she laughed. Shanice watched them, her eyes soft. And for the first time in his life, Choi Dae-Jung felt like he'd found something worth protecting. Something worth changing for. A family. 6 months later, Dae-Jung stood in Lily's new school auditorium, watching her perform in her first play. She wore a flower costume and forgot half her lines, but she smiled the entire time. Shanice sat beside him, her hand resting gently on his arm. She's so happy now, she whispered. Yeah, she is. Thank you for all of this. Dae-Jung looked at her. Really looked. I should be thanking you. For what? For letting me be part of this. For trusting me when you had no reason to. Shanice's eyes glistened. You saved us, Jung. No. He shook his head. You saved me. She leaned her head on his shoulder. And Dae-Jung realized something. He'd spent his whole life collecting debts. Taking from people. Hurting them when they couldn't pay. But Shanice and Lily had given him something he couldn't repay. A second chance. A family. A home. And that was worth more than any amount of money. The end. If you made it all the way here, you're officially part of my YouTube family. Leave a heart in the comments and tell me, do you believe people can change when they find something worth fighting for? Go ahead and like this if it moved you. And hey, if you know someone who needs to hear that redemption is real, share this with them. Subscribe for more stories where broken people become whole and love shows up in the most unexpected places. Thanks for being here. Seriously, your presence means more than you know. If you can, let me know where you're watching from. I'd really love to know. Bye for now, and see you in the next story.